on a hill.
Lindsey Williams with us in this little segment, in the next 5-minute segment, and Bob Chapman's coming on. Before you leave, Lindsey, let's set you up for an hour and a half next week to really get into oil, which you're truly an expert on. Before we go any further and take some more calls at 1-800-259-9231 for our guest, the film you're hearing him talk about, we released on prisonplanet.tv and started mailing the DVDs out Monday, so that's 4 days ago. A lot of people are already getting them. People are making copies of them. They're going wild. He talked to a businessman in Phoenix, said he's making 1,000 copies to give to people. That's what I want you to do. My goal is for this to be seen. It's Fall of the Republic. And they are openly saying it's the end of our liberty and our freedom and our currency unless we identify the bankers. And I'm risking my life doing this. They are not happy about this. It's been declassified that the Army is watching. Myself, Ron Paul, and others are in the Fed rallies. The Army works for the offshore banks. Now, we can reach out to the military and police and hopefully get them to wake up. We could just arrest these people and this could all stop. But we all know it's not going to be that easy. We can still identify them and down the road bring them to justice. Follow the Republic. It's up to you. Infowars.com or call toll free to get it. 888-253-3139. 888-253-3139 or prisonplanet.tv. Watch it right now in super high quality and download it and burn it to disk and give it to people at prisonplanet.tv. Very easy with the DivX system. You haven't plugged this, but when you learned this a week and a half ago, you ran into the studio, made a 3 CD set. You've got it with the old 3D set that's excellent info. Lindsey, fire out the number for people that want to call and order it. And will the operators be there this weekend?
New toll-free number, 888-799-6111. I have hired operators to be online all weekend long. Before I would appear on a single radio talk show, I went into studio. I said, this has got to be recorded before I dare give it out, because who knows of the elite that might not like it out. Again, new toll-free number, 888-799-6111. 6 DVDs, 3 brand new produced last week. Nothing of repeats of the past. Now, if you don't want to talk to an operator, please go on web at prophecyclub.com, prophecyclub.com. And again, the toll-free number all weekend long. 7 operators are standing by right now. 888-799-6111. 6 DVDs, 3 done only last week, all brand new. I beg of you. I've only skimmed the surface here.
Absolutely. Let's go to some more calls here. Let's talk to Dale in Idaho. Dale, you're on the air. Thanks for holding.
Thank you, Alex. There was 2 quick points. I've had a lot of people listen in today, and you were telling us that he was going to give us information on what that gentleman told us about money. The second thing, Alex, that I think is very important, listening to his words, and I believe that gentleman, every word he said within 2 years. That doesn't take his timeline up to 2012. It's like October of 2011 would be the maximum 2 years. But am I wrong in my thinking that if this group accelerates their timeline, that everything he said could be accomplished by June of 2010, October of 2010? Am I right in my thinking?
Let's get the answer to that from Lindsey, but specifically, what's the money question?
Well, they kept using the expression 2 years, over and over.
That part we fleshed out, but specifically, what are we not covering about money? I mean, Lindsey said he was going to cover what was going to happen to money, devaluation, right?
Well, yes, basically the dollar will be dead within 2 years' time. Now, consider the fact that there's nothing written in stone, but their timeline they have set at a 2-year period. They do not want to rush it so fast that the Americans will wake up.
Incremental economic warfare, dismantling the architecture of our nation to make us dependent on the New World Order nanny state. Final segment with Lindsey Williams. We'll get him back up next week for us to continue to take calls, but let's go back to the calls right now. Let's talk to Stephen in Texas. Stephen, you're on the air with Lindsey Williams. Go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, hey, Alex. Pastor Williams, I had a question I wanted to ask you. I was in meetings this week where a guy was preaching on the book of Revelation, And the thing that really disturbed me, and I've come across this so much, Alex, you've touched on this a lot in your various shows. You know, he was kept saying, thank God I'm not going to be here when this all happens because of this so-called, what I call the pre-tribulation rapture theory. It's totally biblically unfounded, and it's totally unrealistic in the light of what's going on. What I wanted to ask is this. You probably know this. I know you do, Alex. C.I. Scofield is the one that's mainly responsible for why we have this so prevalent among Christians today in their theology. Have you come across anything from the globalists indicating some kind of connection between Scofield and, either the Illuminati or the Rothschilds, because he was over in England, and this?
I have. It was all tied into the Christian Zionist movement, and regardless, the entire rapture has been used to make everybody stand down and not fight corruption and evil. And the founding fathers are bad. They should have Romans 13 submitted. Quick comment on that, Pastor.
Oh, this man has never covered anything like that. We have been so busy talking about the economics and what's happening in oil. Maybe someday I can get into that with him.
Okay, Steve. Thank you. Cynthia in Pennsylvania, last caller we have time for with the guest. Go ahead, Cynthia.
Hi, Lindsey. This is Cynthia. I have a question about gold. Is it a good idea to have a gold IRA? And from what I understand, that they do store the gold in a safety deposit box. So I was wondering if it would be safe.
If it's written on paper, it's worth the paper it's written on. Gold is gold. It needs to be held in your hand. And paper gold is nothing more than a Federal Reserve note, except just a little more prestigious. They trust nothing, and I emphasize this, they trust nothing but gold in their hands.
I see. If you have an IRA, let's say it's about $100,000, how can you take the money out of there without, having so much,
penalties? Well, you notice they've done that to keep you in there so they can then have control over the system, bankrupt it, and say, give us more bailouts or you won't get your retirement. I'm not telling people what to do. I know what I do. I don't have any stocks. I don't have any bonds. I don't have any IRAs. I don't trust paper. Most of the money we have is in the bank because it's meant just to run this office and operation, and I don't run by the skin of our teeth. I like to, be a good steward and have funds to operate. But gold IRAs have been performing better than a lot of other IRAs if you're in paper. But I believe in what Lindsey's saying, but I'm not going to sit here and tell people you ought to do this, you ought to do that. You do what you want with your medical life. You do what you want with your financial life. You do what you want with your children. But I know the elites all obsess over gold, real estate, weapon systems, intellectual properties. They are into infrastructure and raw material. They are obsessed with land. Lindsey, I really appreciate you joining us. I'm going to put you on hold right now and have the guys talk to you about when it's good for you to join us. Middle of the week next week. This is obviously so big and so important, and I believe your report. And I just want to thank you for joining us and spending time with us today, Lindsey. And so I will see you, Lord willing, next week. Let me just ask you live on air. Do you have some time available next week?
I always have a time available for you, Alex.
Okay, we'll get you set up then, maybe for an hour and a half or something next week to take calls because people want to talk to you. We'll do exclusive phone calls next week. You can look over your notes and see if there's any other areas of what this man told you, this insider, when we have you on next week.